hopefully everyone is doing wonderful this fine day. You know, often I've told you guys that this book is a law book. It's not a religious book, even though the so-called religious authorities give our people religion. But what I want to do today is I want to show you how the system uses this book, especially the government, right, uses the principles out of this book for their gain. Meanwhile, while the religious authorities, right, the religious system, use it as a means of, again, give you feel-good stories and doctrines and ideology. Before I get into this, let me start off by giving all glory and honor to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to His Son, the After Throne, Yeshua HaMashiach. I would like to also send out a greeting to the brothers and sisters that's trying to teach and reach the children of the diaspora, and also to the Gentiles that are gathered with us. In sincerity to you guys, I say shalom. Now, there's going to be those that hear, right? They have the ears to hear. There's going to be those that have the eyes to see as well. And there's going to be those that's not really going to get it. But anyway, you know, all praise the Most High for those that get it, you know. And if you don't get it, again, and if you're really sincere, study to show thyself approval. Don't believe anything that I say. I'm just giving you information where you can do the research and you can, again, put everything together. So let me start off here, right? Let me start off right here. Let me do this. The Most High in Torah, right, of the Bible. And then we're going to put the government over here. And the system. The reason why I say the system, because make no mistake, the government, you know, it's the head, but you have the financial system, you have the religious system, you have the educational system, so on and so forth, right? And they all really work together, especially when it comes down to keeping my people in check. But anyway, let's move forward. The first verse I'm going to get is going to be Matthew, I want to say 22, 17 through 21. Let me look at it, family. I could be wrong, but I know it's in Matthew. Give me a second. Let me look at it so we can run this down. Okay, yes. Matthew 22. Let's start off at verse 17. Tell us, therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus or Yeshua perceived their wickedness and said, Why ye tempt me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he said unto them, Whose this image and subscription? They said unto him, Caesar. Then he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things that are which are Caesar's, and unto Elohim or God the things that are God. Again, now I know most of you guys already pick it up where I'm going at. You know, if you have done any kind of studying and research and connecting these dots. Again, Caesar, the Most High. The system is Caesar. It's a Caesar system. This is Caesar's system, you know. In fact, you remember I done a video a while back and says, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Again, there's nothing new under the sun. But anyway, let's move forward. Let's go to Leviticus 23. Let's get 1 through 6. Leviticus 23, 1 through 6. And it reads, And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. Again, these are the Most High's feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest. It is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. Unto Yahweh, 7 days ye shall eat unleavened bread. So, the 14th day, right, is the Most High's Passover. And on the 15th day is unleavened bread, right? Okay, which is the beginning of years to us, right? The first month of the year for us. That's how we celebrate the beginning of the year. Now we know that the system and these people, they celebrate the new year in the dead of winter, which is January, right? January 1st. But what they do celebrate, or I ain't gonna say celebrate, what they do acknowledge is this is their tax, right? This is when they collect their taxes, right? It's when the system collects its taxes. Let that sink in. Again, those that see it, you know, it begin to make sense. This is where they get the principles from. Again, paying tribute. That's what we, in essence, we were doing for the Most High. We're paying tribute. We are honoring and giving back to the Most High what He gave to us. But a lot of people don't see that. Again, it's a law book. But they give us religion, which we could go into the whole when to pay. I tell you what, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's go to Malachi. Let's go to Malachi. And I'll come back to that. Most High willing. So let's go to Malachi. Malachi 3 and 10. Malachi 3 and 10. It reads, Bring ye all the tithes unto the storehouse, that they may be meat in my house, and prove me. Now wherewith, says Yahweh of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Again, we've heard these religious pastors and ministers and, you know, authorities say, well, yeah, you know, the reason why you're not getting blessed in the Most High and God is not open up all these blessings for you is because you're not paying the tithes, which that's a whole nother lesson within itself. What is tithes, right? Whole nother discussion within itself. And maybe again, if the Most High put it on my ruach, give me the ruach, I'll do that. Do a lesson on that. But anyway, let's go back to Leviticus. Leviticus what? Let's go to Leviticus 27. Leviticus 27. Let's get 30 to 32, right? Leviticus 27, 30 to 32. And all the tithes of the land whether of the seed of the land or the fruit of the land, is Yahweh's. It is holy unto Yahweh. And if a man will at all redeem out of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithes of the herbs or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the 10th part shall be holy unto Yahweh. So 10%, that's where they get the 10% from, right? So the Most High only wants 10%. The Most High only wants 10%. But the government will take anywhere from 10% up to 37%. Now that 10% is not just for the keep the priesthood going, but it's for the poor, the needy, right? You know, the orphans and so on and so forth. But the system doesn't do that. The system takes it, and most of these political leaders, right, they line their pockets. You know, this is supposed to be for the take care of the poor amongst us, and keep the ministry right, keep the Most High's government, his system going. But these people don't do that. They don't do that. They line their pockets. Again, but we see where they get the principles from. Meanwhile, giving you religion. Now, there's a certain time of year we're supposed to be paying this. But the religious community, right, the religious authorities got you guys paying this every week. Again, which is a whole nother lesson within itself. But like I said, you see where they get it from, right? In fact, like I said, the Most High says, supposed to be paying the seed of the land, right? The seed of the land. Seed of the flock, right? So let's put cattle right there, and also the seed of the tree, right? So let's say fruit or vegetables, right? We're gonna say, you know, you kind of got it, you know, that's what you grow. Now, if you're a farmer, right? Let's go over here on this side. You know, you can have land, right? They get incentives, right, to write off things in the land, or the crops, you know, and even cattle. Again, where they get the principles from. They follow the biblical principles when it benefit them. Again, these people tell you church and state are separate, but here it is. If this book is just for church, why is it that the government is using the principles out of it? Again. But you know what's also crazy about this? Now the Most High called his people, I could put it right here, lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? Lost sheep of the house of Israel. They call us child property. Right? They called my people chattel property. Go figure. Go figure. Now, those that really have the eyes to see. Now we know, again, those that, again, get that this book is a law book. In order to protect the Most High's people, the heirs, right? He will put everything in this book. Say trust. Say trust. For those that have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, so trust. But as long as we're not operating in trust, we can never get the benefits. That's why they gave my people religion. See, those that have the eyes and the ears to hear, I mean, they begin to make more sense now. You're operating in religion. You're not operating in trust. Now, am I a trust expert? No. But we can see the principles. This is, again, why this government is using those principles. Again, people say, well, you know, it's for everybody. But let's make this make sense. Even in these people, right, their constitution, right? Their constitution was written for them. My people were 3/5 human. Even though they say all men were created equal, right? But were we really created equal in their eyes? But now when it comes down to the Bible, it's for everybody. But when we operate in trust, again, that's why they give my people religion. See, the Most High was trying to protect his people, and they took the principles and they used it to benefit them and their. Again, this is why even in their community, even in their society, you know, when we look at the history, we can see how they gave their people certain things, gave their people land. You know, not only gave them land, but gave them the crops to plant, gave them the cattle and all that to raise. Meanwhile, when they did give my people certain things, they took it back from them. Again, those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, I mean, it makes sense now. But again, like I said, you do what you want to do with it. Like I said, but the other thing about a trust, right, is that's how you minimize taxes, tribute, right? That's why these people, again, they really acting as a fiduciary. Those that see it, you know, it can make sense. But like I said, again, this is what I see. You may not see it. With that being said, as usual, peace, love. Shalom.